Afternoon everyone. I've decided to do it from home this time. It seems like it's the easier solution. I can give it my full attention and I don't get some comments about getting 6 points and all that. So here I am at home. I've got quite a few of these questions to get through, so you're going to be seeing a lot of these come out. So I hope it helps someone. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But otherwise I'm sure it'll help this one guy. So this one's for Lewis. It's about rent to rent. Now I'm not a rent to rent expert. I'm not. I've done 2 rent to rent deals. They were pretty successful, so I'm happy to share what I know, but yeah, if there's any other questions, let me know. If I don't know them, I'm sure I'll know someone that does, and I'll be able to get the answers for you. So what's a rent-to-rent, he's asked? A rent-to-rent, super simple, is where you pretty much sublet, but not sublet in a different encasing, but you take a property on, you guarantee them X amount per month, you then rent it for this much. Your profit margin is the bit in between, that difference there, that's your margin. Obviously you've got to factor in bills, all that kind of stuff voids, but you know, that's the simple kind of, the simple way to look at it. The way I look at a rent to rent, for it to be a deal, I've got to get 75% of the money invested back in the first year, ideally a 3 to 5 year term, and I don't want to be spending more than £250 a month on ongoing maintenance. So that's the set budget on ongoing maintenance. Anything over that, the landlord will have to contribute towards. So Lewis has also asked what are the benefits to landlords and why wouldn't they do it themselves? So a lot of landlords, especially the older ones, first of all they're getting kind of squeezed out because the market's changed and the different kinds of HMOs have come on the market and they're just no longer competitive with what they're offering to tenants. So that's one thing, so that you can do that for them. Secondly, if there's a landlord with a big portfolio and you're giving them a guaranteed rent, you know, they've probably got an old mortgage on it, they've probably got virtually nothing outstanding on the mortgage. It's just easy. It's just easy to let you take all of the hassle on. They haven't got to worry about maintenance, they've got to worry about management, they haven't got to worry about anything like that. So with a rent to rent as well, bear in mind you'll be managing the property most of the time, and that's where most of the margin kind of comes from. So with my rent to rents, I don't manage them. And they don't make as much as typical rent-to-rents because of that. So just bear that in mind. So he's put a next question: how would you give the proposition to a landlord? So what I would normally do when I'm cold calling Gumtree or Spare Rooms or anything like that, or texting, I'd give them a call. I would say, "Hi, how's the rooms going? Are they still available? If they are, I would say, are you interested in me taking the whole property on for a long-term let?" And then he's probably going to go, "Well, yeah, but why would you want to do that?" And then I'm just totally upfront, totally honest. I say, "Look, I've got properties in the area. We've done incredibly well this year, and we offer tenants a little bit of sort of a different kind of thing from normal landlords. And because of that, we've got a waiting list for tenants. I don't have the time to buy a property and renovate it. Yours looks like it's in okay condition. Would you be interested in me taking that on, doing what I do with properties? You know, creating what I create, and then renting that on to these tenants that have been asking for my product." That's the way that I position it. So he's also said, well, what would you do if you didn't have any experience in HMOs, and how would you kind of get the deal across the line if that were the case? Now with all deals, especially when you're dealing direct with vendors, the best thing to do is to build the rapport. And what you want to be doing with this kind of thing is build a rapport that's strong enough to take the fact that you don't have a lot of experience. I mean, still obviously show that you're capable. That's the whole thing that you've got to do. You've got to convince them that they're capable. But if the rapport's strong enough and this question comes up asking, because the first thing they're going to say is, well, who have you helped before? Can I speak to someone? And that's perfectly understandable. I would do that. But if they see something in you and if you can convince them to do that, that's the only advice I can give. Just try and build the rapport so it's strong enough to take that kind of thing. I think that's pretty much it with his questions. There was 3 there. I don't think you noticed that there was 3. But if there's anything else, Lewis, give me a shout, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Cheers.